Going to South Korea during COVID-19. South Korea is one of the very few countries in the world now which still honors its visa waiver agreement with other countries provided the other country also honors the agreement. Currently, citizens of about 30 countries can still go to Korea visa-free. If you hold a passport from the US or UK, you can enter Korea as a tourist visa-free. If you don't qualify for self-isolation, you will be required to be quarantined at a government facility for 14 days after arrival. The cost of the 14 days quarantine is about 2,100,000 Korean won, about 1,800 United States dollars. This includes 3 meals a day, daily temperature checks and 3 COVID tests. Payable at the government facility. They accept credit cards. You won't find the information in this slide in any Korean government websites or travel websites. If there is any takeaway from this video, it is these 2 requirements. You need to have the telephone number of a local contact, somebody living in Korea who can speak Korean. The immigration officer at Incheon Airport will call your local contact to confirm. If you don't know anybody in Korea, you can book a Korean tour guide before leaving for Korea and ask him or her to help. Or you can find a Korean friend on dating websites. You need to have an address in Korea because you will be asked to enter a Korean address in many forms upon arrival. You can book a hotel and use the hotel address and telephone number in the forms. At the airport of origin, I was asked to install this app for short-term visit when I checked in. But I had problem registering myself with the app. The app did not accept my passport number. The airline staff said it was okay not to register first. I think if you are visiting Korea for the first time, the app will not accept your passport number. The forms I had to fill before arrival. Upon arrival at Incheon Airport, you have to go through 5 booths. At the first booth, they check your passport and boarding pass, and give you some forms to sign. At the second booth, they install and set up the self-quarantine phone app on your phone. It is here they ask you for your local Korean contact's telephone number. They will call your contact to confirm. So make sure that you inform your contact in advance when he or she will receive this call. Probably 15 minutes to 1 hour after your flight arrival time. At the third booth, they give you more forms to sign. The fourth booth is the normal immigration booth when they stamp your passport. At the fifth booth, an officer will check all your forms and documents and then explain to you what is in store for you. After clearing all the 5 booths, you can go to claim your baggage. If you want to use the restroom, do it now because this will be your last chance to do so. Once you leave the baggage claim area and arrive at the arrival hall, an officer will approach you and walk you to an exit where a bus is waiting to bring you to the quarantine facility. I had ordered a Korean telephone SIM card online before coming, and I asked the officer if I could pick up the SIM card at the shop in the arrival hall. But the officer politely denied my request. They simply cannot let you wander around the arrival hall. You have to go straight to your bus, about 40-minute ride. Upon arrival at the facility, we had to wait in the bus for more than an hour because there were a few buses in front. Only one bus can be processed at a time. All the passengers in a bus must be checked into their rooms before the passengers of the next bus can alight. This is the reason for going to the restroom at the airport. The quarantine facility is actually a hotel, near Gimpo Airport. See the man in hazmat suit. The Koreans take the pandemic very seriously and that's why they're able to control it. Everybody's wearing mask here. This is where we had our temperature taken again and given gloves to wear. We were asked to install the Quarantine Report self-check app and given more forms to sign. You use the Quarantine Report self-check app to enter your daily body temperature. Every day, an officer in hazmat suit will go to your room to take your temperature. You pay your quarantine fee after installing the app and signing the forms. I paid $1,200 here for my 14-day quarantine. In July, the government raised it to $1,800 after they increased the number of COVID tests during quarantine from 1 to 3. 4-star hotel. This is where you will stay for the next 14 days. You cannot leave your room at any time, and can only step out to take in the meal box left outside the door and to bring out the trash. Provided in the room: toothbrush, toothpaste, laundry soap, face masks, etc. There is no laundry service, so bring enough clothing if you don't want to wash your clothes. Only one tea bag or one coffee bag per day. Bring your own tea, coffee if this isn't enough. You can only call the hotel staff to buy important stuff for you like non-prescription drugs, but not food or drinks. A typical meal: lots of kimchi and pickles. Not bad at all. My only gripe: not enough fruits. If you are a big eater, bring foods like chocolates, biscuits, etc. with you. I only had one COVID test on the second day. A few days later, the results arrived. In July, they increased from one COVID test to 3. 2 to 3 days before the last day, they gave you this form to fill in. The group bus from the hotel to Seoul Station is free. At a time when almost all countries in Asia are closed to foreigners except for essential workers, Korea still chose to honor its visa waiver agreements with countries that reciprocate. This speaks volumes about Korea's confidence in its ability to contain the virus as well as its commitment to remain open to the world at all times. In fact, Korea is one of the most COVID-safe countries in the world. In spite of having one of the largest initial outbreaks outside of China, Korea managed to contain the virus quickly. A reliable and widely accessible healthcare system, widespread testing, quick isolation, rigorous contact tracing with the help of mobile technologies, and last but not least, a very cooperative people made this possible. Everybody's wearing masks, observing social distance, and frequently washing their hands. Korea never had to fully lock down its economy except for the town of the super-spreader church earlier this year. When I was there, almost all the shops were open and people went about their lives as normal. Many tourist attractions in Seoul and all tour packages were closed though. But tours were still operating in Busan. These are difficult times for travelers and digital nomads who for some reason do not want to return home. Maybe their home countries have a high incidence of COVID. Korea is a COVID-safe place some of these people can go to. Also, some countries ban visitors who have been to a particular country 14 days prior to arrival. Korea becomes like a bridge. Some of these people can transit for 14 days to avoid the ban by their destination country. Some Koreans are concerned about their government's lax policy of letting in visa-free foreigners. I can understand their concerns, and this makes me even more grateful to the Korean government and people for allowing me to stay in their beautiful country during these difficult times. Thank you, South Korea. Hangag 감사합니다.